Hi, my name is Jane, and today I'm talking about one of the streams of work I've been doing. It's called Viz the World, and for me, it's a way of integrating data viz into everyday life. For Viz the World, I've created projects like food menus, I've created product catalogs, and it came to a point where I was brainstorming what to do next. And so I grabbed this game off of the side of my desk, and this is called Bang. Bang is a game that was designed by an Italian designer. But I played this a lot when I was in school. I probably played this about 100 times. And I looked at it and I was wondering, is there anything I could do with this game to incorporate data visualization? Is there any way I could add value? And this is where this project has started. And so one of the things I've been thinking about looking at was the game manual. So this is a manual, it's comprehensive. It's 11 pages, 12 pages long. It teaches players how to play. And I thought maybe there might be an opportunity for me to do something with this. The rules are actually quite complicated. This game, it doesn't take very long to play, but it's actually quite complicated to play. And it takes a couple of games to teach someone how to play this game well. I think having a game manual is very effective for teaching someone who has never played before. But I don't think it's very good at teaching, helping someone who is an experienced player teach someone who is not experienced. I don't think that works really well. I think if you're an experienced player, there's too much text here to help you, aid you in teaching amateur players. Because the way I learned this game was someone taught me. I didn't, buy this game off the shelf and decide to play it. A lot of people knew how to play this game and invited me to play, and they taught me how to play by showing me, right? But I'm wondering, are there ways we could create visual aids to assist that process? And this is where this idea is coming from now. So I first started doing a couple of sketches in my notebook, as you'll see here. And I just drew as many ideas as I could to see where I could take this. And one of the things that I came upon was the playing board. So this playing board is what you start off with when you're playing the game, and everyone is dealt with one of these, and it's where you put your cards and you put your health as well. And I thought, how could I use this to expand on this idea of creating this visual aid? Everyone is dealt a playing board like this. There's a draw pile that everyone draws cards from. Everyone's dealt a roll. Character, in this case, the character has 4 bullets on the right side, so that determines 4 life points. And everyone starts off with a gun with a range of 1, but you can get lucky and draw one with better range. Finally, we can draw cards like these, which provides utility and stays in play. So the playing board starts becoming the starting point, and here we see that I use it like a puzzle piece where it connects to other things as it talks about all the elements on the playing board. Let's first start talking about the roles. So in total, there are 4 roles you could play. I've shown it here by identifying what kind of roles can exist depending how many number of players there are. So if there are 4 players in total, we have a sheriff, we have a renegade, we have 2 outlaws. If you have 5 players, you have a deputy, a sheriff, renegade, and 2 outlaws. So this is how it, lays out. And I think the hardest thing about this game is explaining to people how to play the renegade. So this game is very clear, right? So there's sheriff and there's an outlaw, and in the beginning of the game, we only the sheriff is revealed. Everyone else is played in secrecy, so you don't know who they are. And generally people will sort of lie, they'll bluff. So if they were the renegade, they'll say, oh, I'm the outlaw, I'm gonna shoot the sheriff, right? You'll never say that you're a renegade, because usually the outlaw and the sheriff will come for you. You'll try to bluff as an outlaw. And the goal of the renegade is to be the last man standing. So you would try to not kill the sheriff first. If you kill the sheriff, the outlaws win, but you don't win. So to win as a renegade, you have to kill the outlaws' deputies and kill sheriff last. So I thought the best way to explain this game is just to explain an example gameplay of how the sheriff plays. The renegade plays. So here we have the sheriff on the top side, right? That's his side. And then the bottom we have the outlaw side. And the renegade is in the middle, right? It kind of can act as if it was helping the sheriff, or it could act as if it was helping the outlaws. It really depends on where the the situation, right? What's advantageous for them. Generally, what happens is as the game progresses, the renegade will try to kill off the outlaw. And once one outlaw dies, the remaining outlaw knows who the renegade is at this point, because when outlaw dies, I think it's usually revealed. They reveal who they are, so people will then know. Okay, we know who is who. And then if the renegade can kill both outlaws and the sheriff can kill both outlaws, then it becomes a one-on-one battle between the renegade and the sheriff. So this is how the roles kind of work. It's a bit confusing to explain it without this aid. Like, if I've never had this aid, it's very, very hard to explain that concept of how to play and how the renegade can kind of move sides. I think just explain the renegade it's very hard. So this is taken directly from the game manual, and you see that it only lists the number of players and shows you what roles to include based on number of players, but doesn't really teach you much about how to think about power dynamics and how to play this game. This visual aid is meant to help experienced players teach beginning players, new players, how to play this game effectively, how to strategize, and ultimately how to win.
Let's explore character next.
So characters, there are a total of 16 of them, and they all have a number of bullets which show how much health they have. And you see on the side right here, it shows a number of bullets. So this one has 3. So when you start the game, you have 3 bullets. And this one was 4. It's 4. So when you start the game, if you have this character, you get 4 bullets to start with for health. Initially, when I was creating this, I only showed life points because the only thing I could think of quantifying was just life points. I couldn't think of anything else. But upon further reflection, I was reading description of all these characters, I learned that they had different ways of playing. Generally, there's offensive, defensive, risky, or utility. And the offensive are the ones with the sharp arrows, they're going to stab you. You learn that this game is very much offensive, right? There's not that many defensive players compared to offensive players. Some of them are quite good in both. They're really well balanced. There's a couple that are more neutral, right? They might help you get cards. There's a couple that's a little bit risky. And I just kind of ranked it in this way. And in addition to that, so there's 3 sections, right? So there's what kind of ability, a type, the life points on the side. So each of these rectangles means 1 life point. So the most you could have is 4. And then the bottom of the card shows you some of these have abilities that relate to drawing cards. So there's 3 types. You can draw cards from another player. I consider that to be offensive play because you're removing cards from their hand. There's also discard pile. You can draw from that. That's pretty neutral. And then you can just draw from the draw pile, which is also a neutral effect.
So this is the characters that's directly from the game manual, and it doesn't show much other than the character's description. I think without the visual aid, it's hard to understand how to play this game strategically. I think the way I've created it is to help people understand how the game was designed and understand how they could choose a character to help them win the game. Let's look at the 3rd and 4th element, which are blue bordered cards.
This is the draw pile. So these are the cards you would draw from. This is a deck you would draw from. And there are 2 types of cards. So there's brown bordered cards and there are blue bordered cards. The brown bordered cards are the ones you would draw. So you draw this card and then you discard it. You use it right away. So you don't keep them in any way. The blue bordered cards are ones that you can usually keep with you for a while. They're more utility based. So there's 2 types. There are those that are weapons. So they're like this. You would put them on your playing board, and the other one is this type of blue bordered card, and you usually play this in front of you. There's some exceptions, but generally that's how it goes. In total, there are 12 different brown bordered color cards, and what I did was I created a histogram. I organized all the cards, and I learned after I played this game for hundreds of times, like many times, probably at least 100 times, and I learned that this card was the most. So what I did was I assigned each card an attribute. These are the different types of attributes a card can have. So it could be offensive, it could be defense, it could be utility, it can help you draw cards, gain health, sort of neutral effect, or it could be risky. So there's a potential for it to also deal damage to you, even if you played it. And I learned that offensive type of cards, there's the most number, right? There's 25 of them there, and half of that, there's 12 that are missed that helps you dodge these cards. beer, let you gain health. So the way that this game is designed is very much meant to be offensive, very much meant to have you play these cards, and try to kill people. Blue colored cards, so these are the ones you usually play in front of you. So remember, we had this playing board in front of you. This is the way you play it. For weapons, you play it over here. You put it on the actual playing board. And so there's 5 types of weapons, and there's 5 types of these cards you can play in front of you. And I can explain more about weapons. So weapons, usually they matter because of where you sit. So with around the table as you're playing the game. So people right beside you, they're a distance of 1. If they're another, they're the next one over, distance of 2. So there are 5 types of guns. These are the 5 types, and the number shows how far it can reach. So volcanic, for example, can only reach up to 1, and the Winchester can reach up to 5.
This is from the game manual, and it shows all the different cards that can be played. Here it only shows the card and also the description. I find what's lacking here is that it doesn't tell you much about how to play these cards strategically and how to think about the game. When an experienced player is teaching a beginner how to play the game, it helps to explain things like why certain cards are more valuable than others, and showing it through something like a histogram puts perspective on the value of certain cards. Overall, the goal of this aid is to teach people how to think and how to play this game strategically. And there you have it. So this is the full aid, I would guess. They're all about the same size, and they'll fit into the box. They're meant to be stacked within the box, the game box. And as you can see, each section serves a purpose, explaining how to play a game, and also serves to explain how the playing board works as well. Thank you for watching. I'll leave you with some ASMR of me cutting paper.
Two types of cards. So there's blue bordered, there are brown bordered cards and there are blue bordered cards.